Round of applause. The Cleveland Guardians did two things yesterday. They scored some runs.
Oh, they're still playing?
Yeah, they scored some runs, and they actually got a dub. And I'm gonna tell you, I tweeted out yesterday. I said, I wonder how many runs will the Guardians score on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. This is something that happens all the time. We sit up here, we talk about how bad they are, how horrible the offense is, and even if it's not like a overwhelming outpour of offensive performance, they still find a way to do the opposite of what we just talked about the day before. So, watch the game. What did you think of the performance yesterday?
No. Did I watch the game? I mean, I was watching Coco Gauff like everyone else who had, has a brain last night. I'm kidding. But
I don't have a brain. I was trying to prepare for this.
I'm teasing. I know people love the baseball here, and I do love the baseball, and I love to win. This team is very mid. They're a game under 500 right now. It doesn't appear that they're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. So, unless there's a miracle, guys. Do you see a path, Jason?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
No. The path.
Sorry to be Mr. Negative Nancy today, but
no, this is not a playoff team. They know they're not a playoff team, but the encouraging sign from yesterday, obviously, Parker Messick, 2 starts. He's looked really, really good. It's only 2 starts. Preface everything with it's only 2 starts. But he's got there's nothing extraordinary about him except his changeup. His fastball velocity is very average. But he limits hard contact. He doesn't give up barrels, and his changeup is a legit weapon, and that is what's going to carry him. Is sort of the arm side run that he gets with it, and just the way that he can mix his speeds. So, I mean, listen, it's 2 starts. They've been 2 terrific starts. I sent you guys something. I don't remember now what it was. One of 3 pitchers. In Guardians history.
Wasn't Savali one of them?
Savali and Luis Tiant. That's odd company to be in. But 6 innings, 1 or fewer runs allowed, and 6+ strikeouts in his first 2 starts. Aaron Savali, who also got off to a terrific start early in his career, and then obviously Tiant. So we'll see. Messick's going to get a lot of the leash. He's going to be here the rest of the season, over the rest of the year, and certainly he's positioned himself for a spot in this rotation next year. But he's not overly dominant with the stuff, but he's getting outs, man, and he at least gives you a reason to watch right now.
All right, so hear me out. Even if he's not overly dominant, but we clearly see he can pitch at this level, right? Kyle Stevens, the guy that the Guardians acquired when we traded for Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year, but I started thinking last night, like, all right, I don't really trust Tanner Bybee as the ace, and maybe this season could just be that he can turn it around. But, man, Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee, Kyle Stevens, and now Parker Messick, the future I get it. It's 2 starts, I get it, and we haven't seen Kyle Stevens yet. But is that a fair rotation to start trying to envision in the future, Jason?
This has been such a disappointing year for Bybee. Williams has been up and down. There's been moments of like, okay, there it is. That's it. And, you would like to see him emerge and take that step. If anybody has the potential and the tools to be the ace, it certainly appears to be Gavin. He just needs to put it all together. And I do think Bybee will bounce back. I think this was a really humbling year for him. Next year's a huge – I mean, listen, he got his money. He's been paid. But next year's a big year for Bybee in terms of his numbers have gotten worse every year from his rookie year, and that's concerning. So he's got to make a flip next year. He's really got to go back in the lab and look at it. Look at his pitch mix. Look at his stuff. See what's working. See what's not, and try and figure this thing out. John Means is rehabbing. He's going to be a rotation option, a veteran. Had some really good years in Baltimore. We'll see, coming off Tommy John, what he looks like next year. We might get a look at him before the end of the year. I don't know, but I think Means is a rotation option for next year. Ciccone has been okay. He's been hit hard in August. And we kept saying, like, when he was really rolling, we kept saying, okay, well, the metrics, the advanced metrics say that a crash is coming, and it's here. So what is he moving forward? He's certainly a piece to look at. I don't know that they have a top-end guy like they had with Bieber and like they had with Kluber before that. If anybody, it's Gavin. But right now, they haven't really had anybody that's really separated themselves. And I'm just most disappointed, I think, in Bybee's season.
Yeah, the other part of this, Carlos Santana was put on waivers yesterday. I know, Jason, you kind of felt like that was a guy that the Guardians should have probably tried to move earlier, during the trade.
I just don't think there was a market for him at the trade deadline. So by putting him on waivers, you're giving, really this is a courtesy to Carlos. Mm-hmm. And you're giving him an opportunity if a veteran team wants to take on the rest of his contract. I don't know that there's going to be a big market for him. I think a lot of teams that needed help addressed it at the trade deadline. So I don't know that anyone's going to claim him. But if he goes unclaimed, then the Guardians can either keep him or they can release him. But they've made pretty clear that the at-bats now are going to go to Manzardo and Kefis, which they need to.
They should have been going there already.
And the Santana signing I didn't love at the time. I understood what they were trying to do. You trade Naylor, you create an asset, you sign someone who's sort of that level replacement, who's better defensively, not as good offensively. Santana is much better defensively than Kyle Manzardo is at first base. But Manzardo needs the reps, man. Like, you just have to live with some of the errors that he's going to make. He's going to make errors, fielding and throwing. You got to live with it because he just has to sort of figure it out there. And again, fact-finding mission over the last month, kind of see what you have. And Kefis and Manzardo next year, Kefis can slide back to first and be sort of a timeshare between the two of them. One of them DHs, one of them plays first. Kefis has been okay and right. I haven't really looked at the advanced defensive metrics on him, but the times I've seen him play, he looks comfortable enough out there. I don't know that you want him playing right field every day for the next 10 years, but they're getting by with it for right now. And Santana is not an everyday player anymore. He shouldn't be on this team or on another team. Hopefully there's another team that claims him, that finds a spot for him and wants that sort of veteran bat, pinch hitter off the bench, late game defensive replacement, that type of thing going to the postseason.
Got a few minutes before we bring on Leroy Horde, but I was boothing yesterday during the show. Shout out to the chat. Somebody in the chat asked, Travis Bazzana, is there any opportunity now, seeing how the season has played out, that he come out and he can get some at bats to try to get some, major league at bats?
I don't think so. I think we don't see Bazzana until May of next year, because at this point, why start the contract clock now? And you could bring him up for September, and he could still start the year in AAA next year. He's had very, very few AAA at bats, which isn't as big of a deal anymore. Guys are spending less and less time in the minors. Obviously, we've already seen guys from his class come up and establish themselves as major leaguers. But given the injuries this year, I don't think we'll see him until after, because of service time issues. I don't think we'll see him until May of next year. I would not expect to see him in September. I hope I'm wrong.
I want to see my boy Jose break up about this little mini slump he's been in. Like, at least if the Guardians are not going to the playoffs, if this is what it's going to be for the duration of the season, man.
They're in a tough spot, and like, the season's long. You go through ups and downs like this, and they're just, obviously they won last night, but they won with a 3-run first inning, and then they didn't do anything the rest of the game. So they're in a tough spot. It's just a mental grind. It's been a really, really hard season for them, obviously, for a lot of different reasons. And at this point, you're just sort of crawling to the finish.
Just think about the job Stephen Vogt has done this year. Overall.
Very mixed. Last year everything seemed to go his way. This year they've had a lot more problems than what they did before. They've thrown a couple just absolute bombs at him. Who could have ever seen some of the gambling scandals that have plagued this year? The Bybee thing wasn't great the other night. He's being tested as a second-year manager, and you hope that he learns from this. And biggest part of managing is how you manage the bullpen, how you use the bullpen. And another big part of this is how you handle all of these personalities and how you the best part of Mike Hargrove as a manager in the 90s was the way that he dealt with all those guys, because you had a ton of big personalities, and the way that he sort of kept everyone in check and kept that locker room moving was a credit to him. And one of Tito's biggest strengths is his ability to connect with guys and relate with guys. This is tough, man. And how they play over the last month and how Vogt sort of keeps a handle on things will show a lot about what kind of manager he is and what he needs to improve on going into next year.
Yeah, I think, adversity builds character. And, you know, Stephen Vogt seems to be a guy that he's a player's coach or player skipper, so to speak, right? And even when us from the outside was looking at this situation and we could see it spiraling out of control, whether we agree with it or not, he came in front of the cameras and he always, you know, seemed like he was champion for his baseball team. But this was one of those seasons to where, as you said, he got tested. And you're going to get tested when you're a young manager. But for him, he's a former player. And the same roller coaster ride as a player, I'm sure it showed itself, and he was able to bounce back. And he had a solid career. So it'd be interesting to see. You mentioned Mike Hargrove, and it made me think about another podcast I was watching with David Justice.
Yeah.
And he said Manny Ramirez was the best hitter he ever played with throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
Like just Manny was just that dude. You go back to those teams in the 90s, man. I want to get back there so bad. Like, so bad.
Well, it's not coming anytime soon. We'll wait and see when new ownership takes over, but the idea of stacking a lineup like that with the stars that they had, those days are over.